Hello, everybody, and welcome to We Live in Color. I am Deaunte Damper, and so happy to have y'all here. Now, before we begin, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Converge Media and this show and our other shows that we got going on, okay? Now, stay tuned for those, but in the meantime, we have a great guest. This person has many titles in community. And I would just say, her empress to the LGBTQIA community and community leader, Howard Russell. How are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I am great.
Good,
I'm
good.
just so happy to be here because of people like you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's always good to hear something like that too.
You have always set the tone.
Oh, thanks. I tell you what, this studio you have is amazing because I walked in here and I was like going, it's absolutely a great looking event thing here. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
We have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And all the hats you wear, I just have to start. How did you start? Well, actually, not. I don't want to say getting into the work, but
Right.
are you from Seattle?
I'm not from Seattle. I'm actually from Omaha, Nebraska.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
so I lived born and raised in Omaha, and that's where my parents live at now. And then from Omaha, Nebraska, went to DePaul University in Chicago, got homesick in Chicago, moved from Chicago to Minneapolis, finished school in Minneapolis, and then headed up here to Seattle. So yeah, so I've been here for at least a good 20 years so far.
So Midwest, was it? Were you openly queer at the time, or were you?
I
It would be
was.
kind of scary.
No, well, yeah, the Midwest is kind of scary, but no, I was open. It's just that I wasn't participating in a lot of things that was happening. So, a lot of things that I've done actually started when I got here in Seattle. So yeah, some of the hats that you said that I put on, that's where it all began at.
What made you start putting on some of those hats?
Well, it depends on where we start at. So it started off. I have to be honest with you. When it came to being part of the HIV and AIDS community and working with finding ways to, being helpful and guidance, I actually got it through Pocan. Pocan was my start. It was a lot of volunteer work that was going on. I was actually in. They used to have an organization which was called Brother to Brother of Tacoma, because at the time I was living in Tacoma as well, and I was able to take that chapter that they have and was able to create that particular organization down in Tacoma itself.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Brother to Brother,
So,
Sister to Sister?
yeah, so Brother to Brother was a group of just BIPOC or Black gay men coming together and just enjoying each other. I remember we would play cards and doing outreach and just being as a gathering group for everybody. As I mean, we were very, very popular, especially Seattle's chapter was very popular in the community itself. When we did it in Tacoma, we were able to go a little bit farther than that because we were able to apply for grants that was working with those living with HIV. We did a lot of testing outside in some of the bars that was in Tacoma, and we also did care services as well when we were there.
I have to ask this: how many locations did Pocan have at that time?
Well, I should sit on. Just to add that in there, I sat on Pocan's board too, as well, for about 3 years. Pocan had they were in Seattle, of course, because that's where everything started at, but they was also in Tacoma as well. So they used to have an office there a long time ago.
Shout out to Pocan.
Yeah,
So
there you
were you
go.
doing?
They're still
Were you
around.
outreach more so, or were you actually one of the navigators?
So for the Brother to Brother, we were doing we changed it from a social event into a nonprofit organization, and so it was more out there, charity work, outreach. A lot of outreach work was being done as well. So,
and kind of with kind of going back, like what year were you starting, like doing the work with Pocan? Not to say your age, but
that would have been probably 2000 is when it was.
And how important or essential was Pocan?
Well, see, the thing was, is let me really be honest with you. I remember I'm from Nebraska, and so I knew about HIV, but I didn't know enough about HIV until I got to Seattle and started watching the work what Pocan was doing. And when I started watching the work that they were doing, then I started being volunteering and just being a part of their organization. So that's why I got to learn a lot of it was here in Seattle. So
And how long did you stay with them?
I stayed with them. I can't say that I'm away from them, but I stopped being part of the board. Um, I think that was in 2007 or 2008, somewhere in there. Is when I kind of stepped away from their board because at that time I was actually doing something a little differently.
What was you
So,
doing? Just to be
you know
nosy.
what's like you say, depends on what hat it was, because it was a million things that was going on in my life. And at that time, when because I was working for the Pierce County Health Department as well, volunteering work for them, and then I broke away from that and ended up going into corporate world, and where I worked for Verizon for over 10 years as a sales representative for them. And then I got homesick of working with nonprofits. Then I came back to the nonprofit organizations. So yeah.
So throughout that transition, I want to ask you a little bit more about Chablis,
Sure.
where she
Okay.
came, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you after the break.
Okay.
You're watching We Live in Color. Will you marry me, baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me put this on you.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Trey Holiday. We're bringing back Black Love When We Met. That's right. We need something to warm all of our hearts and to elevate love once again in our communities. We want y'all to go to whereweconverge.com/Black Love so y'all can nominate your favorite couple for the next rendition of this show with me as the host. Let me sit down and have them on my couch and share how their love can inspire us all. Make sure y'all go and get your nominations in today and be on the lookout for Black Love When We Met coming at you on Converge Media very soon.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
Pacific Northwest Ballet unveils Giselle, ballet's classic tale of romance, betrayal, and immortal love. The New York Times calls it a triumph, comparable to an epic film. This stunning production is touched by magic. Order tickets now at pnb.org.
And we're back with We Live in Color. I'm here with the Howard Russell. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Again.
How are you doing?
But I want to ask you about, when was Chablis, Lady Chablis, born?
Okay, so yes, so my alter ego is Lady Chablis. That's Ladie Chablis, and not to confuse that with the incredible Lady Chablis from Savannah, Georgia. May she rest in peace. But I started doing this. So just to give you an idea how it really all happened, I used to be in high school and in college theater major. That was basically what it was. And then one day I just happened to go to one of the drag shows. And when I saw the drag shows, you sometimes you stare at these girls and you're like going, God, I could do better than that. And it was just that one day that I had bet someone that I wouldn't do it. And they bet and said I would do it. And I ended up doing it. And that's how it all began. But what happened is that I only had been in drag for the first time. They asked me if I would be in a competition, which was the Femme Magnifique International Pageant, and I told them no because I've never done drag before. They got me ready. For some odd reason, they
Hold
told
on,
me
let's
to it.
shout out those people. Who were some of those folks?
Oh, that was Diva Devereaux was one of the bigger ones, and Latigra Love from Tacoma. They're the ones that helped me put me together to do this. So we finally got in there and did this competition down in Seattle, and I ended up, out of 15 girls, I ended up getting first runner up.
First competition.
First
Okay.
run, my first ever competition. Then from there, we ended up going to an international pageant, which was in Portland, Oregon. And then when we got to Portland, Oregon, I ended up out of, I think 30 or maybe there was a lot of girls contestants in that one. And I ended up getting first runner up in that one as well. And so that was the start.
So then the
And
titles just
that
start
was
rolling
it.
in, right?
Everything started rolling right after that.
Okay, now
So
I gotta ask too, because you got a mom from the Midwest. What was it like coming out to her in that space? Like, oh, let me show you who Sibley is. What was that like?
Okay, so that story is unique because I've never told any of my family members about Chablis. And Chablis been going on for a long time. I've never told them anything about it. So my parents decided, because I was just ready to graduate from pharmacy school, my parents decided to fly down for graduation. Well, that same night was a show at um, our place. And then they didn't want to stay in the hotel, and they asked them if they could go, and I told them no. And then one of my friends says, yes, you should go. And so they were there in the audience, and it was the first time they ever saw me in drag, and the first time ever saw me doing a show and hosting the show. And what that was like was incredible, because after watching them and their face expression, and then watching their movements when songs came on and their laughter and everything else, I remember being on the microphone, and I finally introduced my parents to the crowd, and my dad got up and grabbed the microphone for me. That scared the hell out of me, because I didn't know what he was going to say coming out of his mouth, especially being from the South.
Right.
He goes, you know what? I've seen him in theater and everything else, but I think he should be in Hollywood. And I had a tear come down to my eyes, because I never thought that acceptance was happen.
Right.
It's already hard enough coming out to them, but actually accepting the fact that I do drag as well.
Right. And now you're taking over the world.
Well, no,
Well,
the world's probably taking over me, but I'm not taking over the world.
You talked a little about Our Place. Did you was that the first space where you were hosting?
No.
Okay.
No. That was not the first place. Tracks was actually the first place that I started hosting at. And then from Tracks, I went over to, it was a place called, I forgot what the name of the place was, but it was in Seattle. And what happened was, one of the softball players saw me hosting the show. That was Timberline is what it was. And one of the softball players saw me and asked me if I would come to our place and do one of their shows there. And I did it. And I ended up staying there for 15 years, 16 years.
How important was Our Place to the queer community?
It was very important, because of the music was amazing. Because any other bars you go to, and I'll be honest with you, in the bars you go to, there's no hip hop dancing, there's no our kind of music that we like to hear. Right. And it was just basically alternative, house music and the whole works. So it was very important, especially for our community, when it came up. But the one thing I can tell you about Our Place is that I'm as a black queer man and a black man that does drag, I am the longest running host here in Washington State, period.
Y'all heard that other title? Y'all heard
Yes.
that?
But it makes me proud, though. I have to tell you, it makes me really proud, because the fact is that there's not many areas where black people are able to say that this is where I'm at. This is especially in the queer community, because our community is really based on more of the other racial ethnics that's out there. But when you have someone that's black and truly black out there, and who's been running a show for 17, 18, now I'm on 19 years,
right.
That's amazing. I pat myself on the back for it.
But what people love about you, right, is that you create space for the youngins.
Oh, yeah.
In community.
Oh, my
what
God,
is that what's that been like getting so many community members like Dominique and Lasaviana and just to name a few that out there and pushing
you don't really, to be honest with you, I don't really think about it. I just see that there's some upcoming people that are out there, and so we invite them in order to be a part of what we do. We, as leaders, I guess you could say, as leaders, we have to make sure that we get people to follow in your footsteps. And that's some of the things that I think that I do, is just I go out there, I do it. And I believe just being seeing the face of someone allows people to want to do the exact same thing itself. So
let alone black folks.
Was
it hard back in the day to get, because I've heard these things, was it hard to get books back in the day because you were black?
Yes, it wasn't because it wasn't because you were black, per se. It was because of the fact that most bars had their own talents that were there, and they would keep the same people that were there. So there was no room for anybody else to actually come through. I just got lucky, to be honest with you. And to be the way it went for our place, my luck only came in because I was doing a show for them and I asked if I can create the show that I do now, which is Lashes, which was held on a Sunday at our
Why'd you
place.
name it Lashes?
It just came to my mind one day. We were just trying to think of a name. Me and another friend were trying to think of a name, and we thought, let's do Lashes. And I said, okay, let's do Lashes, and that's how it started.
So now you guys are at are you guys at the comeback now?
The comeback.
What was that experience? Letting go of our place.
That was a hard experience. I'll be honest with you, that was very hard. It started off really good because it was basically, like any bar that opens up, people just want to go to it to see what it's like. So it was like a big reunion at one point, and it turned out to be, it was fun because it was almost like being back in our place. But because of the fact that, and we know how it is, the community, if it's not in Capitol Hill, getting them out somewhere else, especially with the way inflation is, trying to catch a Lyft or Uber. So sometimes that gets really hard. But there are times where we do get a pretty good packed house, and there are times that we just don't. And so, but it's a different feeling than what it was at our place.
But it still feels good. It still feels.
It feels good. Oh my God. Oh yeah. It's always be home. Yeah. It'll always be home without a doubt.
And so you just perform at Lashes at
Nope.
the comeback, or do you do?
I have another show,
Another job
on Sunday at called at Taqueria Katina. It's called The Runway. It's a brunch show that happens every single Sunday. Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I do be hungry on Sundays.
Oh, you'll love the show.
But I do want to ask you some more questions about AHF.
Okay.
Because you're doing the thing over there too. So we'll get into that after the break.
You got it.
You're watching We Live in Color.
Pacific Northwest Ballet unveils Giselle, ballet's classic tale of romance, betrayal, and immortal love. The New York Times calls it a triumph, comparable to an epic film. This stunning production is touched by magic. Order tickets now at pnb.org.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
Will you marry me, baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put this on you.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Trey Holiday. We're bringing back Black Love When We Met. That's right. We need something to warm all of our hearts and to elevate love once again in our communities. We want y'all to go to whereweconverge.com/Black Love so y'all can nominate your favorite couple for the next rendition of this show with me as the host. Let me sit down and have them on my couch and share how their love can inspire us all. Make sure y'all go and get your nominations in today and be on the lookout for Black Love When We Met coming at you on Converge Media very soon.
And we're back with We Live in Color. I'm here with Howard Russell. Howard, now you, from doing community pageants to raising these youngins, to continuing to be a community advocate, especially when we're talking about awareness in the areas of HIV. How did you transition into AHF? And what is AHF?
So AHF is AIDS Health Foundation. It's been around for over 35 years. They were part of the organization that started off when the epidemic was really strong back in the 1980s. We are in, I believe it's like we have 50 something locations, and we also have about 5 international locations as well. So But the question you asked me is how did I transition over to AHF? I didn't know anything about AHF when I first applied for the position. It was through I used when I got my degree in pharmacy. I worked at a mental health pharmacy location, and then I just happened to open up the papers one day and I saw this AHF, and I said, "Oh, well, let me see what this is all about." And had a meeting with some people, and that's how I got on board with it. Yeah.
AHF is doing so many things. And you've been
Oh,
with them for how long?
so I've been with HF for 5 years. Is how long I've been with them. And you're right, we're doing a lot.
And what's your specific position, if you
I
don't
am
mind?
a pharmacy liaison. So basically, what I do is I go out and meet with doctors and organizations and support any events that they have. Give donations out to any events that they um, have going on, and we sponsor a lot of the events as well. And I don't just work here in Seattle. I also work in San Francisco and Oakland as well.
I did not know that.
I do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Palm Springs next week for a meeting, but then when I get back, I'll be in San Francisco.
That has to be great though, because like Seattle and San Francisco are leading it was well with LGBTQ advocacy and pushing more awareness in the areas of
Right.
HIV. So just
Exactly.
staying in both those spaces
Oh,
has to
yeah.
be amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm regretting going there soon because I'm not a big 49ers fan, but I can imagine the the hype there
Quite
in San
sure.
Francisco. Exactly.
So what's next for AHF now?
As far as any events that we have going on, anything
Absolutely.
like that. Well, here in the Seattle area, we have one big event that we're about to have, and that's going to be on February 10th. We're collaborating with Pocan, along with Fred Hutchinson and HF as well. We will. It's going to be a healthcare event. Basically, people can come in and get their vaccines, monkeypox vaccine, the flu shot vaccine, and the COVID vaccine. But not only that, the caveat about it is that we have one of the big stars coming out, who I just found out is nominated for a Grammy with Beyonce, which happens to be Big Frida.
Big
And
Frida.
Big Frida will be there on February 10th. It's free of charge for people to come in, and so that's going to be exciting.
Do we have to get tickets
You
or
do not have to get tickets. You
all
just come
right.
to the door. We just let you in.
Do you think that people are do you why do we still need to push for that vaccine?
Uh, okay, do you want the honest truth, or do
Absolutely.
you want my honest opinion? Not actually the honest truth, but my honest opinion
Your honest opinion.
is that we cannot seem to get. First of all, there's always been this scare. I believe this scare hype about people going and seeing doctors and all the whole works. When it comes to the monkeypox vaccine, Pocan did a really good job of having the Black Pride event, but when they had the Black Pride event, they were telling me they had 200 something people come in to get the monkeypox vaccine. That's phenomenal, especially within our community. But they didn't come back and get the second shot. And so talking with them and getting around with some other leaders that are out there, we just noticed that if you put an event together, they will come. That old movie, if you build it, they will come. If you put an event together, then they will come. And it's a place where we can actually get them all together to have dialogue and communication and talk about health and all the other good stuff that's in there. So
And that's what I love about HF and Pocan. Y'all are always collaborating on
Right.
brainstorming on something.
Right.
And I know I asked about the vaccine, but why do you think it's still important? Because numbers are still strong in Black communities
Yeah.
with people living
Right.
with HIV. Why do you
Right.
think it's still important for people to be out there getting tested and spreading more awareness to defeat stigma?
Exactly. And it makes me it just makes me kind of saddened to hear that we are still the number one when it comes to HIV and AIDS. And it's like what are we doing wrong? Is it education? Is it outreach? Exactly what it is that we're not doing what we should be doing to get people healthier. And today, I don't know if people realize or not, those that are who end up getting affected with the virus, there's a one pill a day, and it will suppress the virus itself, which means you live a healthy life and do whatever the heck you want to do. But we just don't do enough education on it. Is one of the things is part of it is what I believe. So
Well, we definitely need to be pushing that more.
we need to get our churches involved. Need to get definitely involved in there to help us out, because we always know that within that community, that's our safe place to be at. So I just think we get just more education would help us to get where we need to be at on that.
That's interesting that you say church, right? Because we know like primarily men that have sex with men that are Black church, right? And kind of got pushed away due to stigma. So
right.
why is that important now?
You asked me why it's important for churches to be more. First of all, we are a with our community has been part of the church for the longest. Back in the slavery days, the church has always been, like I said before, our safe haven place. You walk into the church, and because you're a man who identifies himself as being a queer man or a gay man, but you walk into a church and you hear the negativities about it, that will turn you away. Um, and you have to be hidden by what your sexual orientation is. And so I think that sometimes is hard. In this day and time, it's so open. It's like there's nothing to be scared of anymore. I mean, it's extremely open now. It's a household name. Your politicians, I mean, what was Barack Obama came out and talked about he supported gay marriage. It's everything is different than what it used to be. I just don't. I think part of it is that people are just not at that comfort level quite yet, where it should be at.
But taking it to church is a great way to start.
Well, taking it to church, and the church being more open is a good way to start as well. Just being a little bit more open about it.
And what church are you partnering with to do that? The next event?
We haven't partnered with any church yet on any of the and on our next event with Pocan. We kind of came together with some organizations that are out there. So yeah.
I know one church, but we can talk about that after break. Right? We'll be back with a We Live in Color tribute and events after this.
Will you marry me, baby? Yeah. Let me put this on you.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Trey Holiday. We're bringing back Black Love When We Met. That's right. We need something to warm all of our hearts and to elevate love once again in our communities. We want y'all to go to whereweconverge.com/Black Love so y'all can nominate your favorite couple for the next rendition of this show with me as the host. Let me sit down and have them on my couch and share how their love can inspire us all. Make sure y'all go and get your nominations in today and be on the lookout for Black Love When We Met coming at you on Converge Media very soon.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
Pacific Northwest Ballet unveils Giselle, ballet's classic tale of romance, betrayal, and immortal love. The New York Times calls it a triumph, comparable to an epic film. This stunning production is touched by magic. Order tickets now at pnb.org.
And we're back with our We Live in Color tribute. Howard, who helps you live in color? Who would you like to think that helps you live in color?
Well, there's a lot of people in this world that I can think. One of the things is to think a majority of our leaders that are out there. Definitely want to thank Pocan. Want to thank Audrey Bell, who pushed me to do some of this work that's out there, and thank some of the bars that I work with now. With one bar that I work with, and then and other places that I worked for. So there's a lot of people to thank out there. Leadership is basically number one of who to thank. Because you look and see what people have done and you follow behind them. So,
well, definitely got to shout out Pocan. Love them.
Yeah,
so they build great leaders, and what you're doing now. So what are some of the events that we have to check out?
Well, besides the shows that I do, that's one thing. The other thing is that I'm part of another organization, which is ECSA.
Another job?
It's the Emerald City Softball Association. I've been with them. I just got the Hall of Fame award from them in 2020.
Hold on, you've been playing? I didn't know you played softball.
I've been playing for 18 years. Yeah, I've been playing softball for 18 years. And I coach a team. One of the teams that I coach is the Warhawks, and I've been coaching them for a little over 10 years now. So, yeah. So people ask me, when do I sleep? I don't.
What keeps you going?
Um, just being part of the community, which keeps me going the most. If I just stayed at home and did nothing, I wouldn't learn anything. I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't be able to do anything. But I think just being a part of the community, on the lives of the community, I think that's what keeps me going the most. And I enjoy it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I enjoy every single bit of it. I have no quorum, no negativity about it. I enjoy every single bit of it.
Honey, we enjoy what you create.
Yeah.
And love to support you in whatever you do.
Oh, yeah.
So the Big Frida event is when? You could look in the camera and tell folks.
Big Frida event is going to be February. Oh, that's right there. Okay. Hey, Big Frida event is going to be February 10th. It's going to be held at the Comeback, which is over in Soto. It's a free event. It's a healthcare event. If you need to get your second dose of monkeypox or your first one, if you need to get a flu shot or the COVID, it's going to be a healthcare event for all of us. And so that's one of our biggest events that we're going to do with Pocan and Fred Hutchison. So,
and how can people find you?
Where can you find me? You can, if you need to reach out to me, I'm basically definitely on Facebook, on Instagram.
We're going to look for the Instagram.
We'll look for the Instagram. Yeah. So I'm definitely on there. You can catch me. Would they want to find me? They can find me. There's no doubt about that. And they have.
I appreciate you. And if there's any message that you would want to give our community members, what would the message be?
I think the biggest message that I want to give to our community is that being more supportive, regardless of who you are, what your sexual orientation is, just being a part of us as a family, because we know for sure out there's a lot of negativity that is out there still going on, especially within our political arena, basically. And I'll be honest with you on that part. So this is the time where we have to stick together. You can't wait till something that happens because you're Black and it reflects the Black community. We have to be together as a whole community and be a part of that, because as long as we're together, regardless if you're white, Black, Asian, whatever the case may be, as long as we stick together, we can conquer anything. But if we keep separating ourselves from each other, our war will be we won't have a war. We don't have a strong war. And so that's the thing is, the only thing I can say to people out here is just start supporting and communicating with people and just being a part of people's world. If you're scared of it, be a part of it and get to know it. That's that simple.
That simple.
It's that simple. Just right.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you for having me.
You can come here anytime. I would love for Lady Chablis to give us a summer tune one of these days.
Well, your lights in here is a little warm, so I will wait on that one.
Well, thank you so much for
You're
coming
very
on.
welcome. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for watching. Next week, we have the lovely, thank you for introducing me, Chablis, London Bradshaw. She will be here next week. We have a lot to discuss. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And remember to live in color. Have a good night.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.